Howdy everybody, this is Bake, IronThroneCraft.com. Today we're going to show some Blood Moon rallies. Had a lot of offensive action in Blood Moon this time. Some more action at the Capitol, everything else like that. So, what we learned in Blood Moon is that there are a lot of different ways to skin a cat, basically. So, whole lot of rallying. It was only up against one other kingdom, so there wasn't a ton of action like non-stop as if we were up against a bunch of other ones. But we did learn that these untouchable traps are no longer untouchable. Also, burned a whole lot of 1 trillion plus players and zeroed a couple. I'm going to show you one tonight in this one. So, right here, Rally Lands, check it out. Hit for hard. 340 million killed. Scroll down and you'll see what we're getting at. So he's got infantry gear on. You can tell because of that infantry attack. But we got his stats zeroed. So you'll see me filling with the infantry gear there. Tier 6 also. So that was a massive points hit right there. And I'm going to go and say that in Alliance chat. But what we were learning from filling rallies and hitting players of all sizes, we actually hit a whole lot of big players, is that what we've been doing now is we're picking one troop type and we're blowing it up. That's our plan. With new Aspirant, Ferocious, and Willful gear, the head and chest, while the traps all want the weapons, and everybody wants the weapons to defend with, the head and the chest, you use those things, and you fill rallies with those things, and it gets nasty in a hurry. So, this is another large bad player. Bad alliance, that is. Like, the tag's bad. Not talking shit, I'm reading his alliance tags. But you see we get a nice little crater out of it. All of our archer pets run off because we decided to zero infantry stats, and we only killed a little bit. See, we only killed 11 million because he's got 6.5 billion troops there. He's also got 10,000 infantry attack. We didn't get his infantry all the way zeroed, though. See how defense and HP left over? So we know that we need a little bit more debuff on this, and also all tier 6 troops, but there's 6 billion of them. So we had 6 billion tier 6 infantry, stacked up a whole lot of infantry stats, still managed to burn them. So I'm going to go into AC. I'm going to say we need some more debuff there, obviously. Right into the next rally. It's going pretty quick because I sped it up while we were filling the rally. Because what I'm doing right here is I'm waiting to top. So once I'm waiting for us to get quite a few people in, 6, 7, 8 people in, and then I'm just going to top the rally off with the remaining troops. And that's so that we can make sure that we get all of our fillers in, we max out the gear, everything else like that, and then I'll top it off for like you're topping off a gas tank. So we hit boom, boom caps us. And as you're going to see me saying AC in just a second, so we healed 6.8 million. Anytime you kill a small amount like that with a rally, so we killed 6.8 million right there. That means they got pre-meat. What pre-meat is boom is infantry, I'm pretty sure. If he's not infantry, then he tricked us and got us. But I'm pretty sure he's infantry. So that means you stick some cav or some archers in front of that. Or just some other kind of troop on the tier in front of it. So here we're hitting Ashley right here. Ashley is a archer trap, and we know that. So we hit with cav gear. That's why you see Bella as my hero there. I'm using those new heroes to kind of separate out what gear is. So we hit for 35 million troops. Not that huge of a hit. Scroll down, look at it. Got 838 million tier 4. So Ashley has a ton of archer stats. And so what we're trying to do is now with these new hero presets, we've got different heroes set to different things. See all these presets? I hit 3, and I activate that. That's my infantry debuff set. So, see, number 1, almost an 11 million rally, which is ridiculous. And number 2, now all the fillers know what to be filling with. We've all got our presets made. And we go and we hit our infantry preset based on whatever the rally leader calls. On this one, Tess called that she wanted infantry gear. So we go, hit the infantry preset. I'm still waiting to top. That's why I'm sitting around waiting. Maya is my infantry hero, so now I'm going to top it off. And by top it off, I mean I didn't pop a march boost beforehand, so I didn't top it. But it is what it is. Somebody else topped it off. I cut that part right there a little bit. See, we hit Twist, and he catches on fire. And so let's go check the report here and see. Twist is obviously big. He's got good gear. We only killed 20 million. And let's see why we only killed 20 million. Because we chose infantry gear on this one. And what infantry gear is you're maxing your cav debuffs. So see, we killed 20 million right here. Scroll down and look at Twist's stats. He's got a bunch of infantry stats, which means he is running infantry gear. See his cav right there? Only 400 defense and 100 HP left. Scroll down and look what his build is. He's got a buttload of infantry, and he's only got 20 million cav. So we killed every single cav that he has. On the next hit, we would want to hit with archers, but I don't think we did for whatever reason. Now here is Legend. Legend is also really big. I think he's 1.2 trillion. Hit him right there, 70 million kills. Scroll down, see that we got his cav entirely zeroed. So we're hitting with infantry. Sorry, I started recording late on this one. Scroll down, check it out, and see that we got 70 million kills out of 810 million. He's split on the bottom. So this is what we were doing, well, with the whole crapload of siege, actually. But what we were doing in Blood Moon is we were picking one troop type, having all of our fillers fill it, and then hitting with that. So now I'm going to speed it up a whole lot because Legend sits here. We thought he was offline for a minute, but then we found out that he wasn't offline. He was healing troops, and I guess he was adjusting between each one, or he was just more stubborn than we were. I'm not sure what the answer is there. But see that we're filling with infantry, and that's why it's going so fast now, is because we're going to hit him over and over and over again with infantry, killing almost the same amount every single time. The reason we're choosing infantry is obviously because most of us have really good aspirant gear. Or, not really good aspirant gear. Some of us have really good aspirant gear, but for the most part, of the level 60 gear, most people have the best aspirant gear out of the three. So you see me say he's healing, and that's just because we looked at it, had the same amount of troops after the first hit, and then the second hit, it means he's healing, he's adjusting, expect to get caps, basically, is what I was getting at. But it takes a while before that happens, so that's why this is going so fast. But what you want to do right now, in order to burn these traps and these large players, is pick a troop type, get all of your fillers to fully maximize debuffs against that troop type. So see here, Tess is running a cavalry set right here. So I'm going to sit, and I'm going to fill with cav. So that means that I am trying to fully debuff archer gear. So for that, archer stats. So for that, anything that has archer debuff on it, which is going to be willful and it's going to be ferocious, not going to be aspirant. But because of this level 60 gear now, and the massive amount of debuffs provided by the head and the chest on it, fillers can get really, really, really big debuffs. So while the weapons are incredibly good for traps, and it's really, really good to go single type, see we only killed 37 million there. Scroll down and look at his archer stats and see how he's got 616 HP, 532 defense. That's why we didn't kill as many. Scroll down and look at the troops and get all the way down to the bottom and see how he's got tier 3 infantry on the bottom, only 1.5 million infantry on the bottom. That's the pre-meat I was talking about earlier. Pre-meat does wonders for stopping damage because it eats all of that preemptive, not all, it eats a ton of the preemptive strike leverage, which causes problems because you really need that leverage in order to do a lot of damage. So now this is Alligator. You see he's 1.1 trillion. Sorry, I keep clearing my throat. Got something stuck in it. So right off the bat, Tess calls infantry. I switch over to my infantry lord preset, and then I go and I hit number 3. Number 3 is infantry gear. Number 3 was broken because I had double assigned a rune, it appears. See how it lit up red? So I'm going to speed it up while I fix that problem because it took me a remarkably long time to fix the problem. If you look at the timestamp on this, you'll probably see why it's taking me so long to muddle my way through figuring out how to do it. But it is what it is. So I go in, fix the gear, resave the preset. Takes me 12 years to fill, but I finally get set up correctly and get the fill in. And so now what we're doing here, infantry preset, as you saw that, I had aspirant head and chest, but I also had the archer gear head and chest. And the reason for that, or the willful head and chest, and the reason for that is because willful also has large cav debuffs. And by willful, I mean ferocious. Ferocious head and chest, because ferocious also has large cav debuffs. And then I'm running with the crimson infantry gear as well. So we hit him right there, see that it lands, check the report, killed 210 million, hit him pretty hard, 1.6 billion done. If we check his stats, see how we got the cav defense and HP zeroed. So it's no longer a game of trying to get through preemptive. It's now a game of trying to do as much damage as you can in preemptive. So you want a massive amount of attack, and you want a massive amount of debuff for the type that you're trying to hit. So on that fill right there, it was aspirant head, chest, and then crimson slaughter weapons. And put that on all 3 heroes, engrave them all up, everything else like that. Get maximum amount of debuff against cav, because all we're worried about is getting his cav stat zeroed. So next rally gets set, we're sending infantry again because we didn't get all the way through those cav. And that's that. But that's how we are managing to get through these really, really, really big players with massive amounts of troops, really good gear, everything else like that, is by picking one troop type and completely zeroing the stats on it. And that's also why pre-meat is so good, which is what I was talking about. So if you're Cav on your bottom tier, like say you got T5 Cav, right? That's what you're trapping with. And you got the ferocious weapons, everything else like that. You got that. You stick a little bit of archers in front, T4 archers, like a small amount. And that small amount of T4 archers will eat all of the leverage off of the infantry that's coming in. And we did kind of figure out a way to muddle through the pre-meat, which I'll show you in the next video that I'm going to release tomorrow, where I get candy crushed. But see, now we're switching over to archers, and I go in, I changed my hero gear over to preset 4. Preset 4 is archer gear, and that's with Flaming Knight. And so now this is the one where we got through all of his cav in tier 4. Now we're up into his bigger troops. He's got a lot more infantry in this tier. So we're going to start switching the fills up a little bit in order to hit a little bit harder. And see, that one lands, killed 117 million. So as I said, we're going to start hitting a little bit harder because we're now getting through his troop count and able to really maximize the leverage damage that's being done right here. So check this. Now he's getting dead, which means at the start of this, we were like, oh shit, he might be offline. And now he was. So we killed all those infantry. We killed a whole bunch of his tier 6 infantry, but he's still got about 100 million tier 6 infantry left. So number one, this is going for a crap load of points. And number two, everybody's filling the rally really fast because they want those points. And number three, we're going to send archer again. And this is just called, I've called it for years now, the Wheel of Pain, where you saw how we hit infantry first. We hit infantry, we took all the cav out, and then after all the cav are gone, we switch over to archers, and now we're sending archers, and we're taking all the infantry out. And so you kill 81 million right there. Now we're into mixed setup, so we're going to set a mixed rally. We're going to try to make sure that we get them fully debuffed, and we're going to finish off the 0 here. And that's what's basically the name of the game is right now in hitting big players and in hitting smaller traps. Number one, for the traps, they need to set up pre-meat. Also, look at this 11 million rally. That's ridiculous. But anyways, they need to set up pre-meat. They need to make sure that you are eating leverage off of the attack that is hitting you. Number two, if you're running a mixed type defense, it's incredibly hard to do that right now. Be very, very careful running a mixed type defense because it's very, very hard to have enough stats to not get one of your types zeroed, as you're seeing. That's why we're burning these really, really, really big players, because we're able to get one troop type stat zeroed. And we can do one troop type at a time. It's hard to get all of them zeroed, but it's not impossible, as you're about to see right here with this with this massive hammer punch right here. But it's not impossible, but it is extremely hard. There are some people that are running successful mixed type defense. You're going to need to talk to them about how they're doing that, because right now Crimson Steel is not going to work. I think you can do it using various level 60 weapons, but the amount of stats provided by level 60 weapons, as I've gone over in previous videos, is utterly ridiculous. So single type defense is the strongest type of defense there is right now. Flat out. You can build a whole ton of infantry troops, tier 5 infantry troops, for instance. You can wear your aspirant weapons, and then you can stick just a couple of the cav right in front of it. So like, say you got 1 billion tier 5 infantry. You put 10 million tier 4 cav in front of that, yeah, you're gonna burn to solos, so you can do less than that if you want to. But you're gonna burn to solos because your cav aren't gonna have as many stats. But you're not gonna get crushed. You're gonna lose 10 million cav, and that's it. Every time. Every time you get hit, you're gonna lose that. So if you want to do less than that, do like 1.5 million cav, so you can cap solos, you're allowed to do that. Obviously, it'll work, and it will reduce damage, but they're going to get through that a little bit faster. And so balancing the pre-meat is what it's all about right now. Also, for attackers, it's all about getting one troop type zeroed. Stack up the leverage, stack up the debuffs for that one troop type. Aspirant, Ferocious, and Willful head and chests are the best way to do that. As you're seeing, that's why all these people were burning. Stay tuned. Like I said, there's going to be another video tomorrow. I got a lot more rallies. I get Candy Crush, but then I Candy Crush back. So thanks for watching, everybody.